Let's talk about how to build a community site in a very 4 or 5 key steps. It's really important to understand that if you are trying to build a community site, you got to have a clear idea about what your goals are and also your target audience is. Okay, so here's the benchmarking I want you to really think about. When you start a community website, you do something awesome, right? That's for sure. You craft a journey for people to master a topic together, even in difficult times, and you create a place where those people can navigate challenges and seize opportunities together. So that's kind of cool. And you give them the opportunity to accomplish things they wouldn't otherwise achieve on their own. So that's really fantastic. Now, sometimes the process of actually sitting down and figuring out how to build a community site can feel like a grind. But fortunately, there is a way to actually work smarter, not harder, and create an online community website that gives you actually, and your members for that matter, a dedicated space to work towards a common goal. All it takes is knowing what goals to set, what challenges to expect, and a willingness to actually adapt. But I want to first talk to you about let me give you a community site building 101. So what is a community site? A community site, let's talk about that. So when you think about a community site, I want you to think about a virtual space where people with shared motivations come together to master an interesting topic together or get closer to reaching a personal or professional goal. And those communities are usually led by a host, that's you. Sometimes they're called also a facilitator. And so the host actually sets up the structure of the community and connects their members around a common interest. So that's kind of important. And one thing I want to say is that when you think about a community website, really those websites have a few beneficial features in common. And so those websites help members connect with each other using member forward features like member profiles, direct messaging, add mention, and more. Give members also a variety of ways to contribute, from attending live events to even taking part in online courses. And this website also offers people the means to build lasting relationships with each other, right? It's all about establishing a certain rapport within the members, within the member group. This one is important because successful community sites enable members to create authentic relationships with each other, which in turn gives them an added value and more reason to come back and contribute to that community. Let me talk to you about the general metrics here. It's really important to understand that in the past few years, it was pretty common for people to rely on platforms like Facebook groups or Slack to start a community website and help their members connect with each other, right? But when it comes to creating a thriving, multi-dimensional community, those options fall short. Because Facebook groups, for example, has more than a few limitations when it comes to creating a community website because of Facebook's algorithm and the fact that it's simply a distracting place to be. There is actually no guarantee that your community members will see all the posts you make, the messages you send them, or the content you post in the first place. And here's the other thing about Facebook groups. It doesn't offer any way to grow or expand your community. You won't be able to charge for access to content, create membership subscriptions, offer paid online courses, or host mastermind groups. Slack is another popular option, but as a community platform, it is pretty hit or miss. If you are just looking to connect coworkers or collaborators on a big project, Slack can be useful, but because it lacks member profiles, a centralized activity feed, a place to host live events, and a way to create rich media and long-form content, it's not so good for connecting people who don't already know each other. And with Slack, it's harder for your members to build authentic relationships with each other and navigate challenges together, and they just won't get the incentive to keep coming back. So let me give you the first step here. So in terms of finding a platform, if you want to build a community site, you want to find a platform. So the first step, that's really what it is. So basically, you want to have a white label community platform, and those platforms let you skip all the hard work that comes with creating a community site from scratch and focus on what's important, the community itself. And that's what you want to create as actually. And basically, while there are a few pieces of white label software out there, there is one that stands out actually when it comes to creating a community site. You can have Paperbell, you can have Mighty Networks, for example. And so with Mighty, for instance, you can actually bring every facet of your community together in one place. That's what we have seen. You want to have things like membership subscriptions, online courses, and the community itself. Okay, you can go for another software provider, by the way, but you have to make sure that you have certain features available when it comes to community building. Let me repeat that: membership subscriptions, online courses, and the community itself under your own brand and instantly available on the web, iOS, and Android. Okay, so that's kind of important when it comes to having that flexibility and having that report right off the bat. So the first step here, you want to find a platform. The second step, you need to create a new member welcome experience. See, the whole thing is when people actually join community sites, they are really interested in the member experience, and the member welcome experience is part of it. It's actually parts and parcel of that member experience. We are speaking about creating a report. We are speaking about creating a chemistry. We are speaking about having a sense of camaraderie among the members, so that they can feel safe, they can feel honesty, they can feel safety, and they can feel a certain level of flexibility. So once you have chosen your platform, create a new member sequence for your potential joiners. For example, you can actually create an amazing first immersion into your community that will turn casual explorers into committed members. And the thing you want to do here is you want to make it dynamic. Don't try to have like a static PDF file. No, you can have a multimedia landing page, for instance, where you have audio, when you have video, when you have all kinds of animation. It's all about having the opportunity to create a new member welcome experience that the new member himself or herself will never forget. That will position your community sites at a very high level. One thing I want to say here is that when we speak about creating a new member welcome experience, we have to really pay attention to the geography, to the chronology, but also to the demographics. In other words, what is your target audience? What do they like? What type of content resonates with them, right? Because if you are in the States, for instance, you're not going to have copy that will resonate with someone if your target audience is, let's say, in the UK or Australia or Nigeria or South Africa or Brazil. It really depends on the kind of demographics you are going after, but also the geography. Now, when I speak about chronology, I'm speaking about timing. There are there is a certain content that will resonate with your new members during the holidays, during the year-end holidays, and the same content will not resonate with your target audience in the summer, for instance. So be very careful about timing here. That's an important element to think about. Next, you want to start with the people you already know. Don't try to reinvent the wheel. When we speak about building a community site, you want to really start with your own network. You want to start with your own entourage, right? So basically, this is important because you can start a community website with the people you already know, whether you are starting from scratch or if you already have an established following. So here is how it works. Basically, if you don't have an established following, start with what's in front of you. Think about it. More likely than not, you already know 50 or even 100 people, and that's perfect. That's really a perfect place to start. Get started by creating a list of all your personal and professional contacts, from friends to former coworkers. Explore digital spaces that attract the kind of people you want to bring into your community. I mean, LinkedIn actually is a great platform for that matter. And you can reach out. After doing that, you'll reach out to any people you have in common. It takes a little detective work, but it's easier than you think. And if you do have a following, set yourself up for success with small numbers first. Don't try to really reinvent the wheel, but you want to start small as well. It's a lot easier to build something valuable that gets results for a handful or two of your most loyal fans at a premium price, and then scale up into the future. And start narrow and give yourself room to expand down the line. And this is kind of cool because you actually, the whole process will end up being less work, and it will give you better results in the future. And it also will help you actually be seen, because that's the thing. You have to care about your mental health, your physical health, but also your psychological health. Okay, you want to find potential members by reaching out to your email list or social network and tell them about your new community. Explain how it's different from what you are already doing, and engage upfront with anyone who has questions or even wants to know more, right? If someone wants to know more, that person is interested. And once you have found a few potential members, make the space to listen to them and how they describe their own stories and experiences. You want to figure out if you share the same internal motivations. What will you help them achieve? What gets them the most excited about your virtual community? So answering those questions will help you create a virtual community that is actually in tune with its members and therefore much more effective. And you want to have that level of rapport. If you want to build a community site, you want to launch small with a bang. I mean, when we speak about launching small, we are speaking about making sure that the launching program is in tune with what your target audience is expecting. So it's important. I mean, you only need 5 to 10 people to be successful. Okay, you don't have to have a 1,000 people. The thing is that when we speak about defining success for your community site, you have to think about the value you're adding to the existing members. Because see, the thing is that those members, when they are treated well, when they are satisfied, when they're having answers to their questions, they are going to be the ambassadors that will talk about, speaking about word of mouth, they will talk about your community site to others. Okay, so you can plan a small lunch with 5 to 10 highly motivated people and bring them together on the same day at the same time. And once they are there, get them excited about the journey that lies ahead of them by sharing your story and what ideas, motivations, and goals power your community, and show them why you are the right mentor and give them an idea of the transformation that's in store for them. Right? It's all about adding value. It's all about identifying the pain points that your target audience potentially has and how you particularly or your community site can help them solve that pain point. So launching this way prioritizes your members' results and transformation and gives them the chance to see who else is on this journey with them. It also gives them a head start on building the relationships that will help them achieve their goals together, which is really key, right? Because basically, as we said a little earlier, those connections are what gives them the incentive to keep coming back and to share your community with their own circle. See, if they are happy, if they are very enthusiastic about your community, they will be your ambassadors. I mean, going back to what I said about the power of let's say mouth, like, how do I say it? I'm just losing my words here. So the whole thing is you want people to actually share words about your community site. Okay, so word of mouth. That's the phrase I was looking for. So word of mouth is kind of critical here, and you want to have that. You want to establish that right off the bat. Next, if you are trying to really build a community site, you want to build personal connections. See, those personal connections will actually serve as the fulcrum that will assist you actually in growing your sites over time. And successful communities don't just understand the power of building personal connections; they prioritize them. Okay, they really take them as seriously as possible. So, as you're building a community site, look out for opportunities where you can create and sustain these connections within your community. And one of the easiest ways to do this is to create a consistent schedule and actually stick to it, right? It's all about consistency. It's all about regularity. It's all about showing up every time, all the time. When you say you will show up, you want to show up. That way you are creating a habit for both you and your members and offering them concrete ways to contribute. And if that feels overwhelming, consider using a weekly calendar instead of daily. You can actually have a set of daily actions to encourage yourself to stick to your schedule. Big question is, you got to ask yourself, why are you doing this? Why are you doing this in the first place? Because see, when something is really when the why, when the vision is clear, the dedication is there. So okay, and with a weekly calendar, for example, you can pick specific days of the week to highlight member contributions, offer informative online courses, or host live Q&As where members have the opportunity to contribute to the conversation. And if you can actually commit to consistently, let's say, consistently offering something 2, 3, or 4 days out of the week to your members, you can give them the space to get vulnerable and tap into each other's experiences. And that's kind of important. And when we talk about consistency, that's kind of critical because that's going to show, that's going to emulate your members to do the same. And daily actions work in much the same way. Small things like creating polls and surveys or asking compelling questions can get your members talking to each other, especially on the days when you don't have any courses or even live events on the calendar, right? And it's super effective both as a way for you to check in with your members and for them to check in with each other so that they can establish relationships. And you got to have that sort of that sort of horizontal relationships. And using both of this using both of these strategies together will actually do more than enable you and your members to build personal connections. It will also help you build new practices and sow the seeds for a growing, thriving community over time. Let's talk about the last thing you want to do here is that you want to look at growth as a practice. So the thing is that in the long run, you can only create a community website that's green and growing when you adopt a willingness to experiment and stay open, right? It's all about what we call A/B testing. It's all about multivariate testing. Basically, see what works and what doesn't work. You just want to tweak it a little bit, okay? And so when we talk about looking at growth as a practice, basically this looks like this: as you tend to your community and its members, you want to experiment with new formats, build relationships with your members, and be open to the stories and experiences they share. And always, and I repeat it, always ask for and listen to their ideas and feedback. And you can actually, this is important because you are able to see based on the feedback what works and what doesn't work. And you can also try the right, like choosing the right platform to actually build your community website. So with the right platform, for instance, you can experiment with a ton of different growth practices. And this is kind of cool. So you can try things like live streaming, which really surprises and delights your members because you are showing energy. You are showing a multimedia content, right? A multimedia piece of content. That's kind of cool. So when you have a dynamic, active community, there will always be something new to try and something novel to discover. If you are curious about those things and willing to tweak different parts of your network to better fit your community, you can actually lead your members on a transformative journey and deliver the results that they are looking for in the first place. And that's what you want. You want to be in a situation where you are able to offer what they want: the construct, the foundation, the platform that they need to actually grow. But remember that it's all about adding value. It's not about you, but it's about your members and what kind of value you are adding to them in the first place. So what's the quote out here? In today's conversation, I spoke to you about how to build a community site, and I'll give you the benchmarking and the general metrics. Thank you so much. God bless you. I'll see you next time. Until then, remember, stay marvelous.